Welcome back, Golden Flashes fans, inside the GFTV studios. Dan Griffin alongside the head ball coach, Todd Starkey. And, Coach, since the last we talked, nice 2-0 week. And you guys, as we kind of used the golf term, have made the turn, if you will, within MAC play at 6-3. So congratulations. A couple of big victories coming off an impressive win over Western, and then ground out a win on the road, which is always hard in a rivalry game.
Yeah, for sure. It was a good week for us. Anytime we're coming in here and recording a 2-0 week, that's a good thing for us in conference play. Thought the defensive side of the ball has really been what we've been able to hang our hat on all through the season, really, and we're really doing a great job of that, especially lately here in conference play.
And let's talk a little bit about the game against Western Michigan on Saturday inside the MAC Center here. I know that they've been playing a little shorthanded, but that doesn't change the fact that your defense really kind of carried the water for a lot of that game. You shut down a Broncos offense and really frustrated them.
Yeah, did a great job. I mean, credit to our assistant coaches. They've been putting great game plans and scouts together. Our players have really been doing a good job of taking that in and really executing that from a defensive standpoint. Against Western was no exception. I mean, it was one of the better defensive starts that we've had to the season. And like I said, I thought we were really connected. We did a great job of trying to take them out of their stuff. And, they missed a lot of shots. Sometimes you play against teams that are cold, but I think a lot of our defense had something to do with that for sure.
Absolutely, because they were maybe they were one of those kind of the quick but don't hurry type of adages that you see. Well, you made them hurry, and even those open shots seemed rushed at times. And when that's the case, all of a sudden, open look isn't a great shot anymore because there's that little bit of panic that you guys have kind of instilled in there.
Yeah, right. Our rotations were really good in that game. Going back and looking at film, we scrambled well. When we got out of position a little bit, we scrambled well, and like you said, we made them rush some shots that normally they would take in tempo and rhythm. And then I thought our team did a really good job defending Taylor Williams. I mean, an all-conference level player, and really did a good job of crowding her and not giving her space to operate.
And then offensively, again, we always kind of preach the balance. When you guys are going good, it's 5, 6, 7 people answering the call, and on Saturday that was no exception.
Yeah, I mean, you look at our stats. I mean, we don't have any big time scores as far as on the stat sheet because we have so many players that can step up, and I would imagine we are probably a tough team to prepare for in personnel because you take away one and somebody else is in the you really have to go 9, 10, sometimes 11 people deep on our roster and talk about everybody. That takes time to prepare for that because we have a lot of players that are capable.
Yeah, and to your guys' credit, if they're going to double down on somebody, you're not the team that is going to force a shot. You're going to pass up a good shot for a great one or make that extra pass because if somebody's doubled, that means somebody else is open. And when you guys are going good, that open person usually is getting a great look and knocking it down. There's no selfish play really here. You're not forcing things.
Yeah, especially against Western in that game. We had 19 assists on 24 made field goals, which is that's great team basketball. The ball was really moving. I thought we did a great job of cutting against their zone. Really did a good job of delivering passes, it showed in the win column. I mean, the way that we executed on both sides of the basketball, we're able to do that, and once again, it's just the group seems to be starting to round into form right about the right time as we're moving into February.
And you guys pick up a big victory to kick off the month over the Zips 57-55. And really, I thought you guys did an excellent job defensively in that first half. It was a low-scoring first half. You frustrated everybody. And then you got the Zips, and you really took advantage of their foul trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things, too, we played phenomenal. We held them scoreless for the first 6 minutes of the game. And if we would have made shots, I mean, here we go again. We talk about this. It was kind of the same thing, our start against Bowling Green where we just couldn't buy a shot in the first quarter. We kind of had the same type of, but our defense was better. We had an opportunity there to be out, double digits, early on and couldn't quite capitalize on some looks that we had. But once again, defense came through, and I thought we did a really good job of making things difficult for them.
And you build out, I believe it got up as much as 13, and then down the stretch, you knew basketball's a game of runs. You knew they were going to make a run, and then all of a sudden a couple of panic shots start falling, but down the stretch in those pressure-packed rivalry game possessions, you guys seemed cool, calm, collected, either got to the free throw line or, again, took high percentage shots and were able to seal the deal.
Yeah, for sure. Well-coached team. And really, they went to certain things in the fourth quarter. We missed some shots, rushed a few. We went back and looked at film. Probably could have done a better job of executing offense early there in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and they were able to capitalize. I don't think anybody on our bench, was in panic mode or anything like that. We felt like we were still in control. They made a little bit of a run. We were still getting some good looks. Came over, and then down the stretch, 2 huge shots. Katie Shoemate hits a shot in the paint, and then Corinne Hauser with that pull-up jump shot late to get it back to a 2-score lead was big for us. And it's for a freshman. That's her second game winner of her freshman year, and two tough places at Oklahoma State and now at Akron to hit game winners. That's pretty big.
Well, and again, those 2 possessions, you had Katie with the kind of the veteran wily move where she kind of does that up fake, gets the defender in the air, and then just does a little step through to create the good shot. And then Corinne, you've talked about her ability to drive, and now all of a sudden the defender has to respect the drive, and she's got the wherewithal to stop at a dime. All right, you're expecting me to drive. Well, how about I just pull up from 12 and nothing but net?
Yeah, her mid-range game, her pull-up games is so good, and and she talked about that. She's like, oh, that's my bread and butter. That's kind of what I go to in those situations, because she can get by you. She can shoot the 3, but the mid-range game is really tough to defend. So big shot there, but gutsy performances all the way around. Hannah Young leads us in scoring, hits 3 threes, and but we had contributions off the bench. Annie Pavlansky comes in and does some nice things defensively. Tatiana Thomas had a really good game in her first game against Akron, and we had contributions kind of all over the place. So it was Lindsay Thal had been sick for a couple days, comes in and gives us everything she has, plays great defense, hits some big shots. So once again another great team win against our rival on the road, and that's never a bad thing.
And you mentioned Tatiana Thomas. Let's talk about her for a quick second, because she's really kind of been pressed into duty over the past 4 or 5 games or so, and really is carving out a nice role for her as a reserve forward, and is giving you guys some solid minutes and some good toughness on the low post, and has been able to, either whether it's a putback game or kind of a nice low post game, she's provided some timely buckets as well.
Yeah, all 3 of our freshmen have been contributors this year, and it's nice to see Tatiana kind of coming into her own at this point. She's starting to get more comfortable. The game's slowing down a little bit for her. She's talked about that, and she's able to do some things. I mean, she's a talented player, explosive, one of our best rebounders and finishers, and now she's starting to play with confidence, which is great to see.
Well, let's fast forward, because it doesn't get much easier for you guys as you head on the road for a little brunch time hoops. 11 a.m. tip out in Muncie as the 8-1 Ball State Cardinals come a calling. What have they done so well to get out of the gate quickly in what's been, as you've said all along, a very balanced and loaded Mid-American Conference?
Yeah, Ball State 11-0 this season at home, and 8-1 in the league. They play with great confidence, great pace and tempo offensively. They're leading the league in scoring, around 80 points a clip, and so it's going to be kind of a classic offense versus defense battle. I think it's going to be a game where whose style of play really kind of rules the day. Once again, capable team, but we feel like we're kind of playing with house money a little bit going over there, and gives us the opportunity to pull off a mid-season potential upset. They're going to be ready to play. It's going to be a tough game, and but I think our players are excited. We've won 4 of our last 5, and now we're going on the road to try and knock off number 1.
Yeah, it's the old adage of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object type of thing. Is you guys have really done a great job. Your defense travels, so it's gonna be a fun matchup to see you guys take on a team that can play, like you said, up tempo and likes to score in bunches. When you see a team like that, is that you guys alter your offensive strategy at all? Just going, all right, when we know we want to limit possessions of this game and go, we're going to 25, 30 seconds a clip, or do you not want to alter what you're doing and just go, we're going to let our defense do the talk. We're going to do what we can do on offense and let the game the pace dictate itself.
Yeah, I think you have to be equal parts of both.
Okay.
I think like if you make too many adjustments, now you're trying to be something that you're not. But I think you have to have a specific game plan against teams that do things well. So I think we'll probably once again, and I feel like our personnel, we have a balanced team. We're balanced on both sides of the basketball. I think balance is going to rule the day for us. And we're going to have to, once again, we get to, defensively, we're going to have to do the job. And then on the offensive side of things, obviously there's things that we try to do against every team based on their personnel. We'll come up with some sort of a game plan to attack that as well. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to us being able to really keep them under their season average. And we got to knock down shots at the end of the day. You got to knock down shots to beat a team like them.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. Again, that's 11 o'clock. So get up, get your breakfast and your morning chores out of the way, and then carve out the middle part of the afternoon, the morning and the early part of the afternoon to watch some brunch time basketball. You a fan of the 11 a.m. tip? This seems to be an anomaly with the rest of the schedule. We're used to mid afternoons here.
Yeah, it doesn't bother us at all. I mean, our practice blocks usually in the morning or early afternoon, so it's keeps us on schedule with that. Also gets us home a little earlier.
There you go.
So, there's trade-offs and everything. I think our team will be ready to play, and we're excited about it.
And then, not to look too much further down the road, but we got Central Michigan coming in on Wednesday for Unity Night here within the friendly confines of the MAC Center. Historically, one of the better programs, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, in the chips. And just really quickly, what have they been able to do well so far within conference play?
Yeah, I mean they're a team that is dangerous. Their record is not indicative of the type of team that they are, because I think they just continue to play better as the season's rolled on. They've had a lot of close losses recently, so definitely a team you can't overlook. No matter what happens on Saturday, we're going to have to turn around and make sure that we're prepared to come back home and defend the MAC Center here. But, there's no easy game in the MAC, and everybody knows that. On the women's side, it's just every single game is you got to be on your A game and be ready to go.
Should be a lot of fun. Again, that's 11 a.m. on Saturday, and then we're back here with a 7 o'clock tip on Wednesday. Coach, 2-0, let's keep things rolling. Let's ride the momentum of the last couple weeks into another 2-0 week.
Yeah, we come back and film this next week. Let's have the same dialogue. I don't care if that's boring. It's in a good way. So let's stay on that track for sure.
Coach, always a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
Yep, thanks. Go Flashes.
Back with more after we take a look at what else is going on within Kent State Athletics. Let's take a look at what's going on with Kent State sports. On Friday night, it will be a 9 p.m. tip at the school down the road inside the Jar when your men's basketball team takes on the rival Zips. The game will air on ESPNU. Don't forget, Flashes fans, the first 100 students to the Jar can claim their free ticket. The official watch party will be downtown at Water Street Tavern. And on Tuesday night, February the 7th, our men's team is back in action inside the MAC Center taking on Bowling Green. It'll be First Responders Night with a 7 o'clock tip-off. And then on Wednesday night, our women's team is back home inside the MAC Center, taking on Central Michigan on Unity Night. It'll also be a 7 p.m. tip. For tickets and other information, visit ksutix.com. And for news, stats, stories, and more, check us out at kentstatesports.com and at Kent State Athletics on social media. I'm Dan Griffin alongside head ball coach Rob Senderoff. And coach, since the last time we talked, another nice 2-0 week and a couple of grinded out kind of blue collar victories for you guys.
Yeah, good week for us. 2 home games, two wins in conference play. Played really well for a majority of the game Friday night against Buffalo. Last couple minutes wasn't quite as sharp as we were the rest of the game, and then against Central, the start of the game, we weren't as good as we need to be defensively, but second half we did a great job and did what we needed to do.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Friday night's game. That was another nationally televised game. Good crowd inside the MAC Center, and obviously coming off of the NIU game, emphasis on defense. You guys really put the clamps on a Buffalo squad that likes to try to get up and down. And like you said, until it got a little fast and loose in that desperation time down the stretch, you would really, really clamp down on that Bulls offense.
Yeah, 6 minutes to go. They had 48 points, which, again, that's where we need to be at in those games against high-powered offensive teams like Buffalo. And then the last couple minutes, it got away from us defensively a little bit, but we were able to win that game and then come back Tuesday, Central Michigan. The first half they made a ton of threes. Give them a lot of credit. Some things we needed to do differently, but give them a lot of credit. And then the second half we did a great job on the defensive side of the ball, and that allowed us to get out on offense.
Yeah, I think they were something like 9 of 13, 9 of 14 in that first half, which isn't, you'd think, sustainable. And I believe that their big guy was 5 for 5 and then didn't attempt a 3 in the second half, so you guys keyed in on him. It was kind of the stretch version of the Dwight Wilson game against Ohio, where he goes and has a big first half down in Athens, doesn't touch the ball in the second half, and this time around, threes were falling for him, doesn't touch the ball in the second half.
Yeah, didn't get any threes off,
Right.
and he missed one. He was 0 for 1 in the second half, and we did make a couple changes in terms of what we needed to do to guard him. But when you said it wouldn't have been sustainable if we had defended the way we were,
Sure.
he was going to keep making them. So, we did change some things up, and more importantly than the adjustment would be, our attention to how we were trying to get through screens and pressure the basketball. So those things I think were the things we really adjusted even better than how we were trying to guard them. So good second half defensively. The whole game we were able to score, took care of the basketball, which was great. And now we move forward.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a chippy game. You guys both teams battled some foul trouble. I think those are the types of games that I don't want to say you like, but eventually guys are going to have to learn to play with 3 and 4 fouls because you're going to need them out on the floor in some pressure situations. So a nice little dry run in late January.
Yeah, all of these games are tough and different circumstances. Each one creates a different circumstance for your team, and try to learn through all of them and try to continue to get better as we move forward to the MAC tournament.
Yeah, and the streak of Friday night games continues. Yeah. We've got 3 more actually ahead of us. The next 3 Fridays we are booked solid. Tomorrow night, obviously, Friday is going to be an ESPN 9 o'clock tip, so another late start. But when it's the wagon wheel rivalry, I don't think you guys could play at 11 a.m. and it's still going to be a fierce, heated matchup.
Yeah, honestly, my players, they don't care. 9
Right.
o'clock, they probably prefer that to noon or 1. I prefer noon or 1 because, normally speaking, I'm in bed before that game ends on Friday night. So that's what happens when you get to be like me. So, but it's great to be on national TV. The game itself, as we all know, heated rivalry. When both teams are 8-1 at the turn, we're at the turn in league. We haven't faced each other yet. Great opportunity for both teams. Talk about us. Great opportunity for us because we're on the road, and it's just going to be a great atmosphere and the whole deal. Kent Akron,
and they've got a nice little winning streak of their own going. I believe they've won 12 or 13 straight. It's a top 10 streak in the nation, much like yours. And you guys went down there last year and came out with a victory. A lot of this, some of the faces have changed, but a lot of the names have stayed the same for Coach Gross's squad. So we know that they're going to bring their defense. You guys are going to bring the defense. It seems like it's going to be a first to 50 almost type of game at times. But what have they been able to do so well through like you said, the front 9 of the MAC?
Well, they've had
schedule?
They've had a great season. Enrique Freeman, one of the best big guys in our conference. Great motor, great offensive and defensive player. Xavier Castaneda is having a tremendous season for them. The guy that I think sort of unsung for their team is Tribble. Really athletic, physical guard. He can defend multiple positions, guards guys that are bigger than him, smaller than him. Those are the 3 returners that played a ton last year, and they brought in a 5th-year guy or 6th-year guy, whatever it is, from Northern Illinois, who's a good player in our conference, similar to how we had Myron come here, Hankerson, who we're familiar with, good shooter, good defender, good player. So they have a really complete team. They've done a great job defensively all season long, and it's certainly going to be a big test for us, probably, our toughest challenge to date.
Well, you mentioned Enrique Freeman and his story and just how he's become kind of come into his own is rather incredible. But we've got a couple of big guys that have really started playing some fantastic basketball. Chris Payton has entered into the starting lineup. I think he's kind of earned his way there more than anything else. But that duo of Payton and Hornbeak have really brought some energy to that low post. And we all know that Chris loves to play above the rim, but I thought Claron's been extremely solid this year as well.
Yeah, they've both been good, and Rico Gillespie, he's actually practiced really, really well here over the last few weeks, and at some point he's going to have an opportunity out there as well. It's tough when these games are grinded out games of true freshman big. It's tough to get him those minutes, but he certainly is deserving as well. In terms of how he's practiced and in games when he's played, he's been productive. So, Chris Payton's been great the last few games. Happy for him. Claron's had a really solid season for us so far, and he's got to, get himself going again here as we move forward. And then obviously we have Rico and I watched last year's championship game for the first time. Actually, I watched it last night, and Akeem started in that game. And right now, I don't have enough playing time for all these guys, but Akeem was a starter last year, and obviously he had an injury, but he's certainly more than capable as well as a front court guy. So we do have enough bodies and enough length and athleticism to throw at Enrique Freeman, but he's an elite player with an elite motor. Again, I think guys like him and from our team, Sin, Malik, guys that defend as well as they play offensively are guys that really impress me, and he's certainly one of those guys. He's a really active defender, and he's a great rebounder, and he's unselfish. So him and Xavier Castaneda is having a tremendous year, coming off 7 for 8 from 3 in his most recent game. So, if we defend the 3 on tomorrow night the way we did against Central, it's going to be a long night for us because they have an elite inside guy along with 3-point shooters. So we'll have to do the things that we're more than capable of doing on the defensive side of the ball, get out in transition, make sure we play unselfishly, take care of the basketball. Done a great job of that of late, and then be ready for a 40-minute grind out type of game.
It's going to be a lot of fun. These games always seem to come down to the last few minutes, the last few possessions, especially in the regular season when we get them when each team gets a home court. And again, tickets are available. Our students get the first 100 that get to the jar on a Friday night get to claim a free student ticket. KSUTix.com is also where you get some tickets. We're looking to kind of put the right blue and gold in the jar.
Explain that one to me. So the first 100 students that show up to the jar.
Show up there at our will call.
Gets
free of charge.
They should have to wear Kent State gear.
That's right. We got the right blue and gold.
Yeah, right blue and gold. Okay.
Coach, obviously a rivalry game, but to you and Coach Gross's credit, you guys use this platform for something a little bit more. This is the second straight year that this rivalry game you guys have kind of focused in on racism. This game is no secret, and just talk a little bit about that campaign and how you guys have really kind of come together and worked on it.
Yeah, it's actually a national campaign, right? This weekend, college coaches around the country will be wearing T-shirts or sweatshirts, whatever it is, with a racism, that logo on it. The idea, I think, was hatched by a woman named Angela Lento, who does college basketball insiders a number of years ago, where everybody wore "This game is no secret" about the secret scrimmage that took place against Duke and UNC Central a long time ago. And that sort of morphed into, a slogan that says racism, which again, it's a cause from coaches to erase racism, and happy to be a part of it and sort of proud to be a part of that, and glad that this game is going to be nationally televised, because the opportunity for that logo to be on national TV Friday night will be great. It's a great message. It's a great cause. It's obviously something that's important to a lot of people outside of just college athletics, but something that I'm happy to be able to promote.
Yeah, if you haven't read up on the history behind that in the secret game, fascinating read about Coach McClendon and how he invented to kind of revolutionize basketball. And that game, obviously, kind of sadly swept under the rug for so many years. It's now being kind of the light being shined back on it, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I think that's a cool part of the whole initiative is opening some eyes to that, and certainly glad to be a part of it, and glad. Again, I'd say this, the fact that it's our biggest rivalry game, but we're able to come together for something, a cause like that, it really does speak to what college athletics is about.
Not to look past to Friday night's game, but Tuesday we're back in the MAC. A BG team comes in that's always been a solid program under Coach Michael Huger. Just talk a little bit briefly about Tuesday night's game and what the Falcons have been able to do well this year.
Yeah, I've only watched them against teams that we're playing against, but I'm certainly very familiar with how they play, and they're always up-tempo, offensive-minded team that is difficult because they have so many guards and so many scorers on their roster. So that'll be next Tuesday. Really not looking past tomorrow, obviously, but great. Again, we get only limited number of games back here in the MAC Center, and we have played so well here at home. So that'll be another great test for us in league play, and we're turning the corner. We're on the back nine of conference play. And hopefully, again, as we continue to play well, hopefully we can continue to have support here for these guys.
Again, Friday night, ESPNU, 9 o'clock. Tickets available through ksutix.com. If you want to make the trek out to the Jar, we definitely want to see you on Tuesday night when BG comes to town. That's going to be a 7 p.m. tip. Both games, obviously, also heard on ESPN Cleveland. Coach, thank you, as always, for a few moments of your time, and let's keep things rolling.
Sounds good, Dan.